One more time. Here we go. Unscripted once more. I've played around with the lighting a little bit. And I'm still trying to find my format, as ever. So I'm going to present this one differently this time. So, here we go again. Today's meal. I'm meant to do this meal a few times now, but not this meal in particular. It's just a meal based on eggs. It's going to be curried eggs. I don't like doing meat, as you well know, because it's too easy and not particularly good for you. This meal will consist of tomatoes, probably two quite large ones, I suppose. A sweet potato, a whole one, which I've had for a while and needs to be cooked. Two largish onions, because I like onions. A green pepper, or a bit of green pepper. I'll save that one for another day. And plenty of garlic and a little bit of ginger. So pretty much the same really, but it's how you do it, it's the love you put in. That's the important bit. Oh, and I'm going to put these in as well, just because I've got them hanging around. There's some green beans, there's nothing wrong with them. They've been here a while, I want to cut them up, they'll be nice. I don't throw too much away. And I'm going to add a little splash of my homemade peach wine. I don't know what it's like, I've never tasted it, but I'll taste a little bit before it's still brewing actually. I'll show you the, I'll do a little tour of my, my cupboards. So that's it, that's basically going to be my curry. I'm not sure whether I'm going to put an aubergine in it or not. I don't think so, I think I've got enough going on there. And it's basically about the eggs. Okay, so the eggs, whenever I cut, I'm going to try and do this. No, I'm trying to think of a thing I can do that I can remember that I'm going to do each time that I'm going to cut. And this could be my signature sort of movement, my signature movement. What could it be? Let me have a little think. It could be. I like that. I don't know why. It's this. Cut. Uncut. Like that. Okay. Right, so cut. Uncut, I think. Anyway, look. I'm going to boil 4 eggs. And this is how I boil 4 eggs. I put 4 eggs in a pan. I know it's a 1 pan man, but it's just easier if I do it like this. And I'll show you how to boil eggs to save you money. Cover the eggs with water. Put the eggs on for boil. Peel and chop. Sweet potato. One thing when you buy sweet potatoes, what I've noticed, is to buy the smoother, rounder ones if you can. Why? Because they're easier to peel. You don't waste so much. It doesn't take so long. You don't waste so much. So if you see a nice rounded, smooth sided one, flick in over one of those ones that's all knobbly and whatever. You get what you like. Careful cutting these because they're quite hard. You can easily get your finger caught underneath. Well, you could if you was daft. So what I'm going to do is sort of fat chips. I'm trying to do fat chip size. They don't take long to cook. These. They're just over bite size, really. chop up the onions. Chop up the onions. Put the onions in a pan. Add some cooking oil. Add some cooking oil. Fry said onions. The thing with these eggs, they just come into the boil, turn them off. Because you want them hard boiled anyway. At least leave them in the boiling water there. That's fine. Leave them in there for 3 or 4 minutes longer. Cook said onions. Tidy as you go. So I've hardly talked on this, haven't I, so far, because I'm trying to do this thing where I don't talk when I'm chopping the onions up. Basically, I'm trying to find my format. So I'm changing my format really. Quick rundown. I'm a cooking program now called the One Pan Man, and I specialise in nutritious, quick cooked meals. And I'll say for the single man, but I mean basically for the single man, because most of the meals I cook are cheap and nutritious and not complicated, and stuff you should have hanging around. Anyway, stir onions, soften them up. If you don't just soften them up, cook them. Cook them. And in fact, put a lid on. You will find they'll cook quicker. Right, so now where was I? Where was I? While that's cooking. Yes. Next. Wait till they've cooked a little bit. Wait till they've softened up a bit. It's always different. This is what I'm doing this now. I'm just laying these on top, like so. And now I don't want this to particularly burn, so I don't want it to cook too fast either, really. So I'm putting that down quite low, medium low, if there is such a thing. I tell you what, I'm going to now have a little bit of refreshment, because that might get my juices flowing a little bit. You know, I don't want to make this thing a drink thing, but you know, I want the juices to flow. Right. Yes. Okay. Where was I? I was cutting up tomatoes and I was explaining what this is about. Basically for blokes who have been narcissistically abused. Now let me qualify that. People that believe they believe have been in a narcissistically abusive situation. They've come out of it at a certain age. They probably don't want to get back into another narcissistically abusive relationship, as he pulls his ear. And most of my clients that have come to see me have been around the block with all the YouTube. They've been to the sites and they've seen it. And to be honest, there's better blokes than me out there. There's some real good ones. I list them on my site. Richard Brannan being, I'd say, one of the best. Lately, I've been listening to, what's his name, Kevin, the Royal We. And you know, it's funny because since the lockdown, and especially the last few weeks, the last 4 weeks, I've had an internet thing here. So there are all these narcissistic sites are coming hitting at me like, yeah, and and because I've got the website art, it's all still going now. I've been, and the lockdown, the work's been thin, like I might have explained before. And so a lot of these these like anti-narcissist sites are coming back to me. They're coming at me. So I'm looking at them, and the more I see, the more I feel like it's like the Truman Show. It's almost like what I'm sort of dealing with that now, my current issues, or they were, they're not the issues, they're small issues, tiny issues compared to where I've been, but it's interesting that on the sites they seem to reflect my current state of mind. So my best advice to anybody out there who wants, if you want relief from the effects of narcissistic abuse, is to go to my site or go to Richard Grannon's site, the Spartan Life Coach, or the Royal Way. Have a look what's there. There's loads of them. If you go to my site, you'll see that I've linked to lots of them there. And I probably will do that through Facebook, but my point being is, I don't think I want to compete with these guys. I can't. You know what I mean? I don't really want to. That's why I'm going down the cooking program thing. It doesn't mean that if you want the echoes of narcissistic abuse aren't there, or they are there and they're not there. I find it quite interesting whether they were or whether they weren't. I find the whole project quite interesting. I try not to carry around too much bitch stress myself nowadays. Right, this is steaming. I'm not going to stir this yet because I'm cooking the onions slowly and the steam's going through. What I'm going to do now is knock up a little bit of stock. So I'm going to boil a little bit of water in there. I'm not sure whether I moan a lot, actually, on here, but I think I do a few. This tap here is dripping, right? I put these on new, okay, a while back, yeah, new, right? And now I've used it probably, I don't know, a fair few times, yeah? But I've used it from new, it's only a few years old. The tap washer's gone already. It didn't used to do that when I was a kid. The tap washer would last for years and years and years. Just saying. Anyway, moving on, make the stock. Make the stock. I can go over here. Right, what was I saying? Yes. And so yeah, so I've been visiting these sites recently, a lot more than I have done the last few years, and it's like, and I don't think it's good for me. I don't think it's I've gone past the thing where I could go back to the if you want the flashback position and that sort of thing, the flashbacks and the triggering systems. You get triggered of basically when you've been in an abusive relationship, you've got 1,000 rows that you never had because you was trying to keep the peace, and you've got 1,000 things that could trigger those off. They take a while to actually sort of quell, and you quell it with certain things like the emotional literacy course that Richard Grannon advertises, which I've never done, but I've done a lot of the background work and this sort of thing. Cut up the tomatoes. Tomatoes cut. Add said tomatoes to pot. Excuse me. Just drop in the top. I am going to stir this at some point, but not now. So I want them to steam with the onion steam. So put that on again. So what was I saying? Before I cut up the tomatoes. I've been watching a lot of these things, and I'm starting to think it's not actually that good for me. I have decided that I am going to move on from the banging on about the narcissistic abuse. One, because those that are on this site and come to this site I'm preaching to the converted. They know what narcissistic abuse is. That's why they're here. That's why they find it interesting. Because you do. Because you don't really know how much it fucks you up until you've been there. And when you have been there, you think to yourself, how the hell was I even there? How could any situation do that to a person? And there's a myriad of answers why that is the case. And I've been around the block with all the answers, all the questions. And myself personally, my only issue now is the train wreck of a relationship you have with your stepdaughters, whatever. The train wreck of a relation you have with anyone. That if you've lived with a make the stock. I'm doing it all like this so that I can know where to cut it up. Make the stock. Use any stock. I don't even know what this is. I'm not going to look. Anything but fish. Put in the green beans. They are optional in green beans. Like I said before, I'm only putting them in because I have them hanging around. Oh, there's another one. An escapee. Waste not, want not. Kettle is boiling, make the stock. Ooh. There's slug at the bottom. The stock was just put in. At this point, add the curry powder. A little bit of that as well. And a little bit of peri-peri, why not? And I've run out of herbs, so I'm going to put a bit of hing in there because I like hing. Hing's good for you. And I'm going to put a bit of turmeric in because I've got a prostate. Right, okay. So what I'm putting in, a bit of turmeric. I think all blokes should use a bit of turmeric because they've got prostates. Apparently it's good for it. It's not too strong, so it doesn't taste that strong. A little bit of this hing. I've got an old pot here. Little tiniest bit of hing, not too much. Put the hing back in its own sealed packet because it does stink. Now this is fiery, is Iberian spices. Iberian spices. Now this, I would say, Peter, is the best curry powder I've ever had off you. It is quite strong. It's called Fire Eaters Curry and Pork. So I'm putting this much in, which is not a lot. And that's what I'm putting in. I don't want a head-banging curry. That is a strong curry powder, but that is a beautiful curry powder as well. Bit of mustard, and this comes from the little, and it had if I die from this point onwards, right, it's because that top didn't have a clicker on it when I got it. Click, 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 you know. So someone's opened it, maybe spat a bit of COVID in there or something. Why did I think like that? I don't know. Peri-peri. bit of azeit, olive oil. Ouch. And you know, this is where I put in a little bit of this. This is my homemade wine. I haven't even tasted it yet. I'm going to taste it. I should taste it really. I should taste it first. Before I go adding it to my, this then I know how it's going to react to the. So there's a good cup there, look. It's been bubbling away like hell. Oh, quite nice actually. It's got the fizz as well, still. See, it's still fizzing. Although I did knock a lot of the bubbles out. Give that a good mix up. You can hear it mixing. Hear it dissolving. Going into suspension. Did you like the way I said suspension then? It's just a suspension. As I got liquid building up a bit in there, I don't want to put too. So any wine really, I use my homemade wine, and it's. Yeah, so the amount of use I can give to any. So basically, I'm trying to make this thing more of a cooking program, and then I'm going to have people ask me questions about, you know, not my scene, but my take on their scenes basically, or my take on these scenes, because you know at the end of the day, like I said on other occasions, the whole world is run by narcissistic people now that don't care about the outcomes of their actions. They don't. You know, so, and we live in it. The whole world's living, you know, this crazy world where people don't consider the outcomes of their actions. Right, now I'm going to stir this for the first time. And I only want to stir it about 3 times, basically. Just knock the edges off the. I'm going to turn it up a little bit now. Oh, I'll tell you what I forgot. It's the pepper. Cut the pepper. What was I saying? Yeah, my thing is the train wreck of the relationship with my stepdaughters, which I didn't really want that. But I was and still am trying to pursue getting my ex to recognise that we did have some quite substantial investments together, and I will actually keep pursuing that. But what I've actually had to do with that is I've had to put that into another little box, and so I will deal that in a separate issue. Than my current daily things. The only reason it did actually get to me recently is because of the bloody lockdown and the earnings capability has gone down the road, like I said in the last video. But now, I've taken good advice, and taken my own good advice as well, is I'm put that into a box, and that box is I'm going to leave it with a lawyer. The lawyer's going to make some inquiries and see what he can do, and if I've got a case that I can take to court that's worth taking to court, I will take it. People said to me, "Oh, it will cost you more." I don't care. I will. If it's, I've worked out what's going to cost me. It cost me €500 to take it to court. But that's all I can do. I can't do anything else. I can only take it to court. I can only try and. There's no point in trying to implore somebody to see sense or act like an adult when they actually can't. So there's no point in doing it. I'm just quite tired of the whole issue, really. You know, but like I say, you know, earning capabilities are quite down at the moment. So that's what. But most of my clients are because they're not spring chickens. Most people are clients. I think the lockdown's had a lot to do with it. And you know, a lot of them are skin. You know what I mean? A lot of clients don't even charge. You know what I mean? Because they are skin. They just have a chat, like, you know. I don't even charge. I charge the ones that have got the money. Some haven't, and they just say, "Can I have 5 minutes just for a laugh?" And I say, "Yeah, go on in." And that's what I do. I have 5 minutes for a laugh. Shoot the breeze for 5 minutes, and I carry on. Sometimes it goes on a bit longer, but so I don't always charge. But if people got the money, they pay. I am bargain basement a counsellor, after all. You know, I am bargain basement counsellor. That's the one I was looking for originally. One that didn't cost you an arm and a leg, you know. One that could, one that you could just shoot the breeze with, and you know, cost you 20 quid basically. And also, I am, if you want, look at that. I'm putting the ginger in now, scraping it with a spoon, getting the skin off. So, as I was saying, chop up the ginger. Have a little top up. What was I saying? So yeah, I'm finding my format. And I see other ones doing similar stuff, you know, and it's you know, I take little bits from it. Right. Oh, that's cooking a little bit too much. Turn it down a little bit. Right. Let's chop up the garlic and the ginger, stick it in the top. I think I said it before, but I make a point of putting the ginger and the garlic in last to get the most of the medicinal qualities from it. Right, that's the second turn I'm doing now. Do a bit slightly thicker. To qualify, I think I might have said that my relationship with my stepdaughters is a train wreck. No, it's not. But it's very difficult to have a relationship with this triad, well, it's 4 people, when there's no honesty there, and so it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult when you're in the relationship because there's no honesty. It's difficult outside the relationship because there's no honesty. The no contact thing that everyone goes on about, which it works, you know, it does definitely work. But it's a shame that you can't have limited contact with the ex-narcissist when there are the stepdaughters there or whatever, mutual friends. But my advice to anybody else is even that it's a pain in the arse. Don't do it. Don't do it. Especially, well, why do it yourself? Why do it? Why be in a company where you can't be yourself? Where you know that if the wrong subject come up, you'd have something to say about it. So you avoid that subject across the table, or you don't avoid it. But either way, it's in there. And so you do and you don't. It's just don't even go there, mate. Don't even go there. And so I don't. Yeah, which is a shame because I miss out of time with my. But I'm going to have to find my own time with my stepdaughters. That's my thing, and that's what I advise to other abused gentlemen. I think that's the crux of my advice. That way, you take out any of the. You're always going to have ambiguity. Right. Now, for anyone's information, this one. Yeah. This is how to shell eggs. They're not even boiling now. I can put my finger in that water. Normally I say run them under the cold tap, but what it does, the cold water, it breaks that seal. This egg is actually falling apart. Turn that down, turn that off in fact. Put this back on the boil. Put these eggs. Well, those bloody eggs weren't even cooked on the inside, so I don't know how I managed that. But I think I took them off before they come to the boil. I didn't boil it for a few minutes. What should I do with that little bit of egg? Eat it. Waste not, want not. Anyway, what was I saying? Had an interesting communication with a friend of mine recently, and I said to him, "Oh, I've done a new £1 man video," and he said, and he just talked about it. He said, "Well, if it's good for you, if it works for you, it's good," and that's exactly it. If it works for me, it's good. That's exactly it. And it was nice that you could understand that actually. You know who you are, dee. It's nice that you can understand that. If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't, what harm can it do? I don't think that it's not going to affect my career, is it? Come on. Right. So what have we got here? That was rubbed in a way. I turned it off now. I would say it's slightly not thick enough for how I like, but I'm going to taste a little bit of that juice. Taste a little bit of juice, Dag. I don't need to do this. Recording. Yes. I don't need to do this because but this is an experimental. So remember, it's got the homemade peach wine in it. That's very nice. Tastes like a good mulligatawny, actually. So what I'm going to do, have a little bit more, just to remind myself it's like a good mulligatawny, as I spit over the floor, which you can do in your own house without stressing too much. Stress over getting told off. Right. I'll have a little bit more. Now I would say it's a little bit thin. Consistency, that's all. Flavour's perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put that in there. No, I'm going to put that in there. I know I'm double dipping here, but it's going to boil. And I'm eating it, so. Get a little bit of flour.
That much flour, that's all you need. Just to emulsify it, whatever the word is. And you can do it like this. Just mix it up like in a cup like that. Don't matter if there's lumps, like, you know. It doesn't matter that much if there's lumps. I mean, for sure, if you're doing it at a restaurant, you'd make sure there was no lumps, and you do a little, you'd have a little white sauce thing ready, wouldn't you? You do it with milk and whatever. There'd be a little white sauce thing you'd put in there. So there's no lumps, but because this is the £1 man, this is how I'm doing it. There's the eggs cooking, look. And that's not even cooking because I didn't turn it on. I turned it off, didn't I? Bring that back to a simmer. So bring that back to a simmer. Now I'm thinking now, what do I have with this? Do I have to have anything with it? It's a question. Just going to have eggs. It's got the carbohydrate of the sweet potato. A friend of mine, actually, it was Mr. Iberian Spices, suggested that there's a market that I do, where I do the tarot cards, and he suggested that I do a £1 man outside broadcast from there, and I've given it some thought. I might well do. I'm trying to think how I can do it though. I think, do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking pita breads. I'm thinking pita breads and curry sauce. That's what I'm thinking. Because I could do the pita breads beforehand, and the curry sauce I could do there. Maybe something similar to this. The edges have started to knock off of these a bit, which was the idea. That yolk I'm going to crush up. There you go, crushed yolk. Right, so now I'm going to shell these buggers now. I know they're just boiling. I'll turn them off. They're done now. So yeah, nice and hot. Tapping it under the cold water. You should be able to get most of the shell off without burning your fingers. Shit, or picking that off like that. Never mind. Okay, the eggs part of this. Oh, there you go. There you go. I've got through that. I can't remember what it's called. There's a word for that skin. That first layer. Drop it in. Plop. Leave a whole egg, look. Plop. Artistic license, mate. Clock spill. Turn the tap off. Right. Here we go. Now, that's looking like curry eggs now.
So, put the lid on. Tidy as you go, tidy as you go.
Now, what was the question? The question was, what do I have with it? Or do I have to have anything in it? That's the question.
Do I have some couscous with it? That's the question as well. That would do well with couscous. Let's see how much I've got left. I know it was getting low. Oh yeah. There's enough couscous left. How to do couscous. Get a shallow pan. This is how I do couscous. Get some of your fluid. Some of your fluid, sir. Doesn't matter if you big lumps with it. A little bit of water, not a lot. So you've got about a centimetre or a bit. Bring that water to the boil by putting it on the gas. And wait. So, bring the pan to the boil, the couscous pan. Turn it off. Put in the couscous. Now it's only me here, so I'm putting the whole packet in actually, because there's hardly anything left. So what I would have left would be silly. But basically, if you put a centimetre of water in, do it so there's just a little bit of couscous poking out. Get the last bit out. What's going on? What's going on there? Anyway, there you go. Bring out the couscous. Bring out your couscous. Make sure it's all covered over, like this. Actually, looks like there should be a little bit more water in there. I don't know. No, it's just about covered. I think it needs a little bit more water. I'm going to put a little bit of that egg water in there. Don't matter. Fuck it, I don't care if it does or not. There you go. Just a little bit of more water, so it's. You shouldn't actually have to do that really. I was just testing it. And then put the lid on. Put the lid on and wait. And wait 10 minutes. Okay. I'm serving up. I'm serving up outside. The light's just going. I might have to turn that music off, I don't know. The light's just going. I'm going to serve up the couscous and serve up the egg curry. It's very yellow. That's my liberal use of turmeric. The eggs look nice and yellow, which is what I wanted. It's a shame they couldn't cook a little bit longer. Can I see my plate? Yeah, I think. Yeah. Let's have a little taster. See, I've knocked the edges off the. I don't know if you can see that. I'm not going to move it now. I've knocked the edges off the sweet potato. There's the carbohydrate anyway. Nice.
There's still a bit of crunch from the ginger, which I like. The sweet potato is perfectly cooked. The couscous is just delightful. Have you cut the egg in half? Here we go. Not as coloured through as I would have preferred, but let's have a little taste with the egg. Oh. Always have some couscous in your cupboard. Sweet potatoes last for ages. They're great. A good source of all sorts. Eggs, whole food. Keep them close. Onions always. Green peppers. A little bit this and that. A few herbs and spices, mate. You can't go wrong. It's easy to eat well and live well. So on that note, I'm going to sign off.